So then, Padix Island. Let's take a short break from reviewing Elvia, because I'm not yet done with Sonius, but I am done with Padix Island, which was buffed almost exactly a month ago, where they made a spot into a solo area, no longer being a party spot. They made the monsters respawn slightly faster, kinda irrelevant. They have 20% less HP, they don't drop the coins anymore, which thank God, because I cannot be bothered to go and turn those in to trade them, and they buffed Agris Efficiency, which is nice to look forward to, right? Interesting changes. The mutant flower pot thingy, they changed it so that they no longer spawn snakes, but now they spawn pirate waves, and that is basically it. We are coming here mostly to see, after all of this time, like years of not visiting Padix, if they made it grindable. How do you think this place used to be? The last time I even came here was over 2 years ago, according to the last video I made on the place, and I can even look at the thumbnail, it says 170, so I suppose, pulling a clip from that video, it was about 170 million silver per hour over 2 years ago. Since then I never really came back here, so I don't know how it would perform prior to the buff, but that is a good enough starting point. So how did my hours here go after the revisit? Class gear pets, I used Valk again for most of the hours. I believe I did 1 or 2 on Corsair, they have the same gear. Valk grinds faster again, what a surprise. And full tier 5 pets, so it shouldn't get any faster than this. Other than that, not exactly a contested spot, at least a month ago when I went there. It was fairly chill. The rotations, I don't think it matters much which room you use, but this is the one I used. I think it's the main rotation. The spawn for the waves of pirates, the pot, the place where you use the Loa flowers, they usually happen like very random. I had 1 hour with none, and most hours were between 1 and 3 of those spawns, the waves. When they do happen, it's a really nice area to grind because the monster density is really high, but without them it's kinda underwhelming. And you can let me know in the comments, because I'm not sure if the flower, the neutralizer, actually does anything, because the waves seem to happen regardless if you go to the pot and use the neutralizer flowers or not. And I don't think there is much else to point out. Ethereal Earrings are not exactly super expensive. I did 6 hours and I dropped 6 of them in total. You could say 1 of them per hour, but it wasn't the case. I dropped 3 in 1 hour, 3 in a different hour, and nothing for 4 hours, so not exactly an even split. And yeah, let's take a look at the results. Right off the bat, I suppose 410 million silver per hour average on our baseline of yellow loot scroll is what I got with my results, but I estimate you could grind a bit faster and say maybe 460 is what other players would get with a bit more practice and an optimized rotation, let's say. I averaged 16,000 trash per hour on yellow loot scroll, but I did every single hour on blue plus Agris, so that would be 24,000 trash per hour. I think the picture is too small for you to see, but this hour, the 6th one and the 4th one were 26.5 or 26.1 thousand trash, so I'm sure I can do this if I try, especially since everything, all of the hours were done on stream, and as you know, I can grind slightly faster if I'm not distracted off stream. I would recommend this on blue plus Agris, you will see later the efficiency, in which case it's 500-ish million silver. It can reach 600 with the faster speed, basically. This is 18,000 on yellow loot scroll. I think this would be about 27 or so thousand, or maybe 28,000 on blue plus Agris. That's your aim. Other than that, these are the items that are taxed. You sell to the marketplace, and untaxed only petals. You make 60% of your profit, at least on yellow loot scroll. I should mention, that's how the chart works. 60% of the profit from trash, 40% from market. It will be more from trash on blue plus Agris, obviously. 40% scaling for the loot scroll, and I guess that's about it. We can look at the Agris efficiency. This time I'm actually happy that they reworked it, so I'm not retesting it for no reason. It's right around here. This is the reworked one, the new entry. 6.2 thousand for efficiency, really good, really recommendable. Essentially, if you can grind here on blue plus Agris, that's the best way to spend Agris, right? It's right around Histria, Turos, Akman, Fogans, in around this region. In my book, anything under 10-ish thousand is a must burn Agris on. These are acceptable areas, and if I scroll down, this is the old Padix where it used to be, in a place where you would say no, don't waste Agris here, so it's really good. For experience and skill points, if you're planning to spend hundreds of hours here for the merchant ring, should you use scrolls to try to level up faster? Well, it's about time to do another big project at some point to get more entries to compare to for full gear at level 62, but until then, this is what we have to work with. The reworked Padix, today's test is this one, which experience-wise, it's about half of what I got at the Giants. For reference, again, first 10 areas, these tested on Corsair 5 months ago, then dropped the project, and the second half this on Valk. So this is Valk clearing speed. It's half of Elvia, half of Giants, so do with that what you will. It's not good enough, I would not recommend experience scrolls, and for skill points it's the same story. I'm sure these days people don't even care about skill points anymore, but if you do, it's very close to Elvia level skill points, so it's bad. Don't use experience or skill point scrolls because you're gonna waste them. Loot scroll efficiency. How do you think this area performs? Because it's actually surprisingly good. I should re-explain how this works because I never do and some people might be confused. Essentially, I take the data from my money per hour chart on yellow loot scroll base, the money per hour I made on average, the trash per hour, the price of the trash and the drop rate, then it's converted into blue loot scroll because that's just how I made the calculator work. 40% scaling for the loot scroll, the blue one, because this area drops 2 or 3 trash, and then I split the money I made, the money per hour, into money made from trash loot, money made from rare items, and then we see overall, if I am to use a blue loot scroll versus yellow, how much I'm losing efficiency wise. In a perfect world, this number should be exactly 200% to get 2 blue loot scrolls of value from a yellow, which is it's actually never the case. I've never seen this number be above 80 something percent, but it's 70%, so it's good enough. I would say you can grind this place with whatever you want. Blue, yellow, blue plus Agris, all of them are viable. Next up, Garmoth, where I actually added the data originally. Now you can finally see it, because I'm sure it was too small on the Excel side to read the numbers. If you're interested, trash for every hour, the drops 3 and 3 for the Ethereal Earrings, the spawns, the events, the waves of monsters, about 1, let's say at worst, or 0, and 3 at most, 25,000 Agris burned per hour, same for these two as far as I remember, blue plus Agris for every single hour, and 1, 2, 3 hours were below 200 because these did not have either a 10th buff or a 50% drop rate event. So slightly lower rare item drop rate than what I normally use. And lastly, and then we are done, Garmoth Global data from other players, 850 hours, about 400 million silver per hour average on the Excel baseline of yellow loot scroll and drop rate event. They seem to get about 15,000 trash on average, mine was 16 something, with 18,000 estimated for the faster speed. And if I change this into say blue and Agris, I'm sure it does get a little bit better, right? 500-ish. Still a little bit lower than what I got, and it's mostly because the speed is lower, 22.6, where I had 24,000 on average. So more or less what I had as results. That's it, we are done. Conclusion, I would say this place is good enough for what it is. It's a treasure spot, and as you know, most treasure spots are not amazing, they are kinda all the same. Just picture Ronaros, Manshaums, they are kind of 500-ish million silver per hour. Then you have the other ones, I don't know, Akman, Histria, Pilaku Jail, those types of areas. They are usually around 500-ish, so it's not broken money, it's not trash either, it's just another treasure item spot. It basically matches those, but it is very Agris efficient, so there's that. It's close to, you know, the Centaurs, the Crescents, the Valencias. So hey, good Agris efficiency, decent enough money, you can spend your time here to get a merchant ring piece if you want, have fun with that, just don't burn experience scrolls because it's bad, and yeah, catch you next time, maybe with Sonios, Elvia Sonios, and hopefully they are not as bad as Giants. Have a good rest of your day, thank you for watching, like the video to put a smile on my face as usual, and bye bye.